So Intel's been on the move for the last couple of days, and I hope you've seen my previous Intel videos where I talk about um, what's going to happen next. But I want to show you, to start off with, a graph that I think summates the opportunity here. And here it is. It's the chart of the Intel share price versus the general NASDAQ as a whole. And yes, isn't that interesting? So the story of Intel is now that Intel is on the comeback trail. So it's got some catching up to do. And if you look at the general NASDAQ and its performance, you can see there's plenty of upside to be had. And that's what I find particularly exciting. But why is it on this comeback trail? This is what I've got to say on that issue and what has been going on the last couple of days. Now, I've got strong opinions on Intel, and a few months ago, I predicted Intel would go at some point ballistic. And the reason I predicted that back in, I think it was February, was because it has a large number of fabs in the US and in Europe. And the leading fabs that make chips for people like Nvidia are in Taiwan or China. Now, that is not a strategic future for America, because it needs to be able to make its own chips, because if it gets in a conflict with China, it can't afford not to be able to make its own chips. And if you think about it, the near future and the medium-term future is going to be about who's going to be number one in AI. Well, America can't be number one in AI if its chips for AI are made in Taiwan or China, because in a conflict, those chips are going to go away. So it has to have chip-making manufacture amongst many other kinds of manufacture, which America would need so that it can actually partake in a conflict onshore. And Intel is really right now the only solution to onshoring chip fabrication in America. Because of that, it goes from a very, very I wouldn't say successful, because it's very successful. It makes billions and billions of dollars worth of chips, and that's an incredible achievement. But it's unpopular. It's been a dog of the chip manufacturing industry. America has realized this absolutely critical vulnerability and has stepped in. You could say Trump, but I think it's been coming for some time. If you look at the CHIPS Act, which was a Democratic act, it foreshadows what's happening now. So America has invested in Intel, so has SoftBank. Nvidia is going to be doing the same, and there's likely to be more of the same coming. And apparently, Apple's going to make an investment. So the rumors are. But it doesn't really matter. The die's cast. Intel is now going forward and is going to become a critical part of the US chip infrastructure. Now, when you think that an Nvidia is 30 times sales and Intel is 2 times sales, or maybe 3 now, since it's gone from $20 when I said it was going to go up and it's now $33, it's going to go to somewhere between 50 and 60. That is my prediction. I might be wrong. I do have quite a lot of it. But if you look at this chart, you'll see where I'm coming from. At 4 times sales, which is really cheap for a tech company, you're looking at $50 to $60. Now, if it went to 10, which is also normal for high-tech companies, well, it will be 3 times where it is. It will be $100. If it was 30 times, like Nvidia and companies like ARM, well, you can do the maths. That's not really likely to happen. But Intel is on the comeback trail, and it's going to be on the comeback trail for a long time, because the die's cast. There is no real alternative, not for years, for the building of bleeding edge chip fabrication. And America has to go with Intel, because Intel has the fabs. And these things, not only do they cost billions, but they take years to build. And Intel is really the footprint of chip fabrication in the US. And that is why it's on its way. And it will go a a long way over the next 2 or 3 years, because this is a strategic thing. And strategic things create trends that are established and go on and on and on. So the future for Intel and its share price is really very exciting indeed. And again today, you've seen it break into a new high. And this is a chart. And this chart gives you an indication of where it's going. And I produced one that said it was going to go exactly here only a few weeks ago, and it has absolutely done that. So up to now, I've been relatively accurate. You can see my previous videos on the subject, which came out before this happened. And I'm very pleased to say I've been calling that. And this is my next call of what's going to happen. In my opinion, we'll probably get a bit of consolidation here, but we might not. And we're off to $50 to $60. That's why, where, and the only bit we're not really sure of is when, but when it's probably going to be soon. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe and like, because that helps the channel. And see you again soon. Bye now.